Well, we've got our luminary speakers, and oh my gosh, it's so amazing to see them coming back here for this final 15, 20 minutes of Q&A. Beautiful to see we've got Audrey and Jonathan and Omashar and Laura Rose and Kurt Johnson and Anna Marie Vahova, John and Summer, Kristin and you. And I'm going to start with a question to Anna Marie because there's a really great question here, and maybe others may want to speak into this as well. But Kelvin Chatlos has asked the question, which I'm just going to bring it up here. Give me a second. Anna Marie, I'm going to address this to you first. So Kelvin Chatlos says, do you think that the science of unitive love, soul, has a fundamental moral imperative powerful enough to counter the dominant world moral imperative of wealth equals goodness slash godliness? Do you think that the science of unitive love has a fundamental moral imperative powerful enough to counter the dominant world moral imperative of wealth equals goodness? If so, how?
Well, that's quite a question, and I'm part of the soul squad, let's say, that we're trying to see how we can really make it more available and tangible. And I am more the practitioner that puts things into place. So I'm going to answer it from a perspective like that I also, I think, bring in soul, that we're not looking for countering something. We're not looking to go against something. We're building new systems, new maps, other ways of doing. Because if we go countering something, for me, it stays in that duality, and I'm looking for that other part. And what we've in the Higgs Center now are exploring more is when we speak about love, what helps us to hold that space and to be there. And we're seeing and now exploring with the triad, or a knot actually, of three independent circles that are so interconnected and interrelated around love, trust, and loyalty. And that is that triangle, that coming together actually helps us why we bond, why we stay, and why we risk. And when we do come into parts of countenance, it's actually, the practice is actually to look into, what do I need now most? Can I fall back on my loyalty? Do I need to build more on trust? And how can I lean into that? Or can I just stay in the bonding? But doing just one is, as we experience in those very challenging contexts, Calvin, as you're speaking of, is actually not enough. So that's how I would answer this invitation to share a bit of our practice.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think, the idea of what we resist persists, and how do we bring a new consciousness that doesn't do away with the old, but includes and transcends it. I think there's a lot of wisdom in there. I'm reminded, Audrey, of the way that crystals form in a liquid. Because you can have everything is right there, but unless it's perfect, you won't see any transformation. You'll just see the liquid and won't look any change. But then when the temperature shifts, when the circumstances and the context just move a little bit and things come into a kind of alignment, when the environment becomes ready and it reaches the right concentration, then all of a sudden, the crystals emerge in very powerful ways. And it strikes me that our discussion about partnerships and alliances are a little bit like that. We've been doing the work, we've been showing up, we've got the intention, we definitely have shared values, but when there's shared timing and a shared readiness, perhaps that crystal formation is not a linear 1 + 1 = 2, but maybe there's an opportunity for us as civil society to go to a whole new order of divinely orchestrated collaboration and connection right now. I wanted to ask you, Audrey, do you see the conditions as being present for us to take not just a step, but a quantum leap forward in our execution of these global alliances to form a coalition that can impact world history?
Well, thank you so much, Ben. You know, history is about transformation and change and how people mobilize, whether through revolutions or any form of coming together to create change and to address the perceived challenges of the time. So, of course, having the alignment of all of the factors to bring about this change also is reflective of the context in which this alignment can or cannot take place. So, what we have here today is a very earth shaking, actually, moment in time where our perceptual field sees chaos on an unprecedented scale as we see the derogation of the former so called world order shifting very quickly. But ultimately, what I believe bothers us is the moral ground, which really we see shifting. So the values and principles of democracy, human rights, and the recognition that each person is deserving to be respected and to have the dignity of their lives not damaged or degraded. And all of these important values and principles have been articulated in important global legal instruments and documents, like, for example, the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and all of the many, many legal instruments and treaties that become expressions of that moral ground, which I think we are perceiving with alarm is happening today. So, of course, having the alignment of everything be perfect will certainly help. But it goes back to the fundamental question which you had initially raised, and that is, I would like to answer this, the soul, that science of unitive love has a fundamental moral imperative powerful enough to counter the dominant world moral imperative of wealth equals goodness / godliness. And I think this actually goes to what your question is addressing, of the international unease that we see. 53 years ago, I had the privilege to meet an enlightened spiritual master who told me that God is love. So if we believe that God, all knowing, all powerful, all present, is that divine creator who created all there is and created us with love, in love, as a true nature of our being, then we must take responsibility for accomplishing what is our true purpose in life, which ultimately is to realize God. And ultimately, where is God? But within us, the closest of all. So this is the aspect of self-alienation, the loss of awareness and insight into who we truly are, that becomes the sacred journey of each and every one of us to walk upon, to come to the awakening of who we truly are. And therefore, that power in and of itself will become the imperative that mobilizes all of our actions to be the manifestations of love and coherence, partnerships, and coalitions. Thank you, Ben.
My goodness. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Wow, what beauty, what truth, what goodness has been spoken here. And we'll come to you, Jonathan. I'm going to throw to Laura Rose first, then we'll come to you. Just building upon that exquisite answer from Audrey Kitagawa and Laura. I love your story as a child of facing this choice. Do I stay in my comfortable, beautiful place, or do I cross that threshold into the world that so urgently needs solace and transformation. But I want to, building on what Audrey just said so beautifully, how important is our own spiritual evolution, our own spiraling up, our own inner work as we come together in organizations to execute, to get it done and to make it happen, and all this beautiful energy and intention. How important is it for us to continue to always come back to our own practice and our own horizons in our landscape?
It's such a beautiful question. And thank you, Audrey, for your words of wisdom. So lovely. To me, they're essential. It is essential that our own spiritual development continues to flow and to grow and to spiral up, because without that, we've been saying a lot lately in this community, you first have to put on your own oxygen mask before you can help somebody else, right? And to me, I've seen that, I thought by the time I hit 60, when I was 20, I thought that 60 was going to be so over the hill that I would probably just buy myself a wheelchair and kind of twirl around here and there. And what I realize is that we have so much growth to still do throughout our lives. And that when we stop seeing the potential for ourselves to really come into the highest wisdom, and when we start thinking that we already know or understand it all, I don't see how we can possibly transmit the love and the support and the collaborative spirit that is necessary to create these evolutionary trajectories that we're all focusing on right now. And honestly, I think we also have to recognize that every day is another journey, and that we may have days where we feel so connected and that we really get it and we really understand and we think, I finally have it, right? And then the next day, at least for me, I fall off of it completely. And then I feel like I'm starting over, and then I have to kind of trudge back up that hill of, getting over my ego, getting over my selfishness, my worries, my individual concerns. So to me, Ben, it's the most essential thing that we can do is to keep aspiring to be the very best that we can, and to listen to that inner voice that's so wise and is so present when we stop the noise in our minds to listen.
Yeah, thank you, Laura. That's so beautiful and so true. And for all of us, I think we can relate to that. John, the great John Denver, said, "Some days are diamonds, some days are stone." It's a little bit like that sometimes. But thank you for sharing that. And the commitment there to continue our own growth is beautiful and gives us great hope for what we can do to really elevate and exponentially go to that. And if we believe, as has been quoted here with Jeff Vanderkloot, what we know is so, he's not talking about across every level of consciousness. He's talking about at that higher level, what we know is so. So I choose to know that we are on the very edge of a quickening, Jonathan Granoff. I choose to know that we are on the edge of these crystals forming, that only now we can only just start to see the whispers of what is potential here in the field. But this quickening, this symposium, this alignment of this date and this trajectory is one of those signs and symbols that we are about to cross into a new era. And that is something that is tremendously exhilarating. What would you like to add to this, Brother Jonathan?
Well, first, the relationship between each of us and God has to be non-contingent. Regardless of what happens in the world, we are responsible for the kingdom of ourself. We are not responsible to save the world. We are responsible to serve the world. Saving the world is not our responsibility. That's God's responsibility. There's a wonderful book called the Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna makes it very clear to Arjuna, or the voice of truth, to the student of wisdom, give the rewards and losses of your efforts to the Lord. They're not yours. The Quran calls it tawakkul, the responsibility of the future is in God's hands. The responsibility to serve with coherence is in our hands. And serving with gratitude amplifies our path to oneness. I had the privilege recently of giving the keynote lecture on Gandhi at the Gates Foundation, small group, small luncheon with Bill Gates. So I did a deep dive into Gandhi's writings about his own amazing service of putting compassion and nonviolence into action. And the evolution of his political strategy turned out to be a surprise to me. It went something like this. He concluded, for his transcendent relationship of his soul with the Creator, that he had to develop the qualities from which wisdom could emerge. And he concluded that since God is compassion and love, it would be those qualities that would transform his consciousness in order to know the great mystery beyond name, form, that we know as infinite love and light. And he concluded that in order to have that transformation, he had to be coherent. And the coherence was to bring those qualities into the affairs of the world. And that's how his strategy of ahimsa and nonviolent social change emerged. It emerged as part of his service, not just to the world, but part of his service to his soul. And it is this community, are people who have been touched with purity and love and know that that's the source of our being. And our commitment has to be non-contingent on the vicissitudes of the world.
Yeah.
And the rewards or losses of our work is not in our hands, but the purity and passion and clarity and qualities that we bring to our work, that's in our hands. And that's got to be enough.
That's so important, Jonathan. Thank you. Powerful and timely reminder. If we were measuring our success by the state of the world, we'd probably be all crawled in the fetal position right now. But thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's
Socrates would have been a great failure, as well as Jesus, if those were the measurements.
Thank you for your superlative wisdom, Jonathan, from the bottom of our heart. Omashar is going to go and open up the Awakening World. It's going to be live from the Conscious Life Expo in LA. Brother, let's get you in here before you've got to go. Thank you for everything.
So yes, thank you so much. And I'm amongst esteemed company here. And I am so elated within myself to hear all these different perspectives that all lead back to here. And all I have to say first is thank you. And thank you for everybody watching and joining in this container, this safe container that we have brought to this now. But everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. So as we change the consciousness within ourselves and continue with our daily practice, as Laura Rose so eloquently stated, this is where it starts. And as our little groups of consciousness just, let's say, find the ground and find our own roots, we will change the world from inside out. And I'm going to leave it there. And I'm just going to say thank you. And I love you all. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this.
We love you too. We love you too, Omashar. And give our love to the Awakening World and the Conscious Life Expo and everybody there. I know Antoinette's there as well as Adam Apollo and Scott Katamas. It's a big deal. So thank you. Bring our love there. John and Summer, let's hear a spiraling up message from you.
Go ahead.
Do you want to do it at the same time, like
There you go.
like Neptune and Saturn?
We are one.
I think I know who's who.
It depends on the moment. But so much gratitude, just like Omashar said, to be amongst all of you at this moment in time is one of the greatest blessings and continues to be, from the Lotus Temple in India, which I'll never forget that, and just all the ways that we touch each other's souls. And I think Kristin Hoffmann's song in so many ways said all of what's happened in the last couple of days. It said all of that and even more.
Yeah. I mean, this really feels like a wisdom pool right here, and this gap between the stimulus and the response, right? That's the moment of choice. And building that muscle to self-regulate so we can co-regulate. Patricia says it beautifully. intrapersonal holiness for interpersonal wholeness. Intrapersonal holiness for interpersonal wholeness. What a privilege and honor to be doing that with each of you.
Amen.
That's my pledge. I'm going to work at it, to be more and more present, to be a better listener, to be a better servant. Just like Jonathan said, that's so true. We're here to serve. Love each of you. Oh my gosh.
Yummy, 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 yummy. Spiraling up. Beautiful. And we're going to
I
hear
always
from,
like to make Jonathan smile and laugh.
if Jonathan's happy, we're all good. We're all good.
And when Kurt dances.
Oh my God.
Too, by the way.
Whoa.
That's a bar. That's a
How about
high.
Audrey smiles? I love when Audrey smiles.
Oh, me too.
Oh my God.
Those flowers just bursting out of her.
Smiles till the stars come out of her eyes. Well, we're going to hear a message from Dr. Merchant, and then we've got a few more before we close. But let me just get in a quick plug for 10 a.m. tomorrow, really quickly. It's a major event tomorrow, 10 a.m. It's a keynote by Matthew Fox. This kicks off Sunday, 22nd of February. The future of interspirituality, built upon the incredible anthology that Kurt and the team at Light on Light have stewarded. The Bede Griffiths Trust has got a panel. Rocky Dawuni is going to be joining us from Ghana. Deborah Muldo is helping Kurt to co-host. The Temple of Understanding is coming in with a panel. And Hollow Movement, Pro-Social Spirituality. Wow. And then Matthew Fox is going to bring it all together. It's a stellar lineup. 10 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. Don't miss that. Dr. Merchant. Thank you.
Well, I hope you can hear me. I would also like to share my humble feelings of gratitude for this wonderful symposium and the words of wisdom that flowed one after the other and coherently when you coordinated the whole show. Truly, it has been most uplifting and soul. I stay truly humbled by the words that we are making. But we must not forget that the
Thank you, my friend.
That surrounds us, the 120 wipe out so many of these crises, always be true. And I'll be going to the Lotus Temple. I'll once again remember the symposium, and I'll try my best to join you 10 tomorrow, which means Eastern time. I don't know, India will be about in the evening.
Yes, it will be 8:30 p.m. in India. It will be 8:30 p.m.
3 p.m. evening. Yes, I know. Josna, Grove, Harris, Alison Van Dyke.
Yes. Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Merchant. Blessings upon
is
you.
Also one of the sponsors. And yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We see the light is increasing. The light is increasing. Yes. This is good. This is good. Anna Marie, let's have a final word from you too as we close this spiral together.
I don't really have that many words at the moment. I am so touched by what we're doing. I guess having that curiosity to see what is next and how can these new maps, these new topologies actually support us to get these different angles into what is happening so that we can see where the light can go through the cracks, so that we can really spiral up and always with the heart and with joy and following our passion, which brings us that life, that sense of life force. Other word perhaps for force, but for now I think it's good enough, life force, to make us continue on our journey. And together is always such a better way of doing it. So thank you.
Together is the only way, isn't it? Isn't it? It's so beautiful.
Well, sometimes we have to do our own work on our own.
That's true.
So that definitely, yes, but yeah, in co-creation, and that can be with ourselves, with nature, with the cosmic context. There's one thing we I think, Kristin, you said think global, act local. What we really discovered when we were looking at the cosmic hologram with Jude and how to bring that across and make that more available for people, we came up with the framework, think cosmic, feel global, and act local, as you know, because you made that beautiful song. And for me, that was such actually a revelation, how simple using that think cosmic, because you could see I'm going up. So when my heart doesn't want to open and I think, okay, think cosmic, whatever that means, it's larger. And feel global brings the heart around the earth and connects us to that toroidal space that is around us. And then acting local in the with the hands in the ground where we are. So I am really just offering that as another way of being able to hold our hearts and the resilience of love in times when it's sometimes so difficult. My heart might close, but the universal heart is there to connect to. And that's what we're exploring with soul. Thank you.
Yeah. Amazing, amazing. I always love it when one of these brilliant thought leaders says, "Oh, I don't have much to say." It's exactly how Avon Madison started her final message, which had so much to say, just like you shared there, Anna Marie. Thank you so much. Bless you, love you. Thank you for being with us. Dr. Johnson, we are almost halfway through this symposium, and tomorrow it's the future of interspirituality. We call it Kurt Johnson Day. But tell us, what would you like to say as we wrap up today?
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be amazing because what we did was, we actually, when we did the interspiritual volumes, it took 4.5 years. We got the word out. We thought originally 1 volume. Then when we had 120 people, amazing people, that said they'd be a part of it, it ended up being 2 volumes. And then there was so much detail and some of the things we had to excerpt. We're doing a 3rd volume in 2026 just on community. So when we started asking then, what would we like to do programmatically? Then for tomorrow, we actually had 10 major interfaith organizations that wanted to be a part of it, 5 who are sponsoring panelogues, and then 1 panel who's hosting 5 other organizations as a part of 1 panelogue. So there's actually 10 major organizations and really amazing pioneers that go back in this work decades and decades and have been dreaming the dream. So we start with talking about that, and we actually end with a discussion with 1 question, and that is, after everything you've heard in these 3 days, what do you think the future of the interspiritual paradigm might look like? Will we get to that cosmopolitan global community that is joined in love and in fellowship and in where there's room for everything? Or will we still continue down this road of what seems to be in our primate genes, which is conflict? So that's the big challenge, the big adventure. And I think when we finished the volumes, we had no idea what the effect would be. I've been amazingly surprised at how many people want to re-energize this vision and ask what it could amount to. And again, thanks to you, Ben, because the conversation we had in January where we decided we would do this and try to do a lot of other things. We'll just wait and find out. It's part of the adventure. It's when Samuel said, "Here I am, take me." He had no idea where he was going. The same with every great avatar in history. They just they go for it based on what they know is in the heart, and then it plays out. So I just have to thank everybody who's been a part of dreaming that dream and hoping that hope. And also the people who put music to it, Omashar, Kristin, oh my gosh, then that's even richer. So enough said.
Bless you, Kurt. Bless you. Thank you. Yeah, we called that January conversation a New Atlanta, which, by the way, is a great name for something. I'm not sure what yet, but maybe there's a new podcast coming, the New Atlanta. Audrey Kitagawa, you had your hand up.
Yes, and thank you so much. I just wanted to say very quickly, I thank you so much for creating this moment in time for all of us to be together and to really be the expressions of sharing how much we do care about our earth, our society, our community, and each other, and how much this has been such an expression of trust within this community to share our innermost selves and our thoughts with each other. And thank you, Ben Bowler and all of this community for participating and spending your precious time, which is your units of life, with us today. Thank you.
Oh, Audrey, well, thank you. It takes a family, it takes a village, it takes a team. And I just want to quickly thank the team at Hubcast, who once again have done a tremendous job. Irina Morrison and Shonda Clausen in the main room. We're learning as we're going the broadcast. Thank you to everyone, the speakers, and to everyone who's participated on this. But our last word today is going to go to the oracle of the cosmic chord, a guardian of the harmonic flame, the resonance weaver herself, keeper of celestial frequencies, the harmonic emissary, Kristin Hoffmann. Take us into a closing moment, Kristin.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. I receive that most incredible introduction with so much grace and love. Here's what I want to say. For everyone watching, this is about you and your reawakening. So I hope, I pray that anything we've spoken, shared, sung into this beautiful container of light today has served in that reconnection of you, so that you remember the truth of who you are. This being, this cosmic being that Anne-Marie just spoke so beautifully to. Yes, may we listen to that cosmic beingness that we are, and then harmonize with the world, and then tune our inner vibration both within ourselves and in that local collaborative space that we're working in. And lastly, let's remember to celebrate each other. We see so much division, and we have to practice the art of celebrating each other. It is a missing ingredient, and it takes practice. We all have that part of ourselves that has been trained by society to think, oh, if someone else is on the stage, that, oh, that means that we're getting less. No, we get to all have our moment, and as we learn to harmonize and breathe together and cosmically align together, let's also find that joy, that sacredness in celebrating each other. And truly, I think that's how we remember how to work together, so that it's not just one organization or another. It's not just you or me. It is the we. And we get to all dance like Summer Joy does with total exuberance when we see beauty and when we see you remembering your unique gifts. So bowing to you, and I see you, I see you, I feel you, I hear you, and I'm so excited to celebrate your divine awakening within yourself and in this glorious chord of harmony.